Let's do some drywall. Hello everybody, Drywall Repairman here. We're just doing another video. This is a video on patio ceiling seam cracks. I have several videos on seam cracks, crack repairs, jobs like this. This is a drywall repair channel, so we're repairing some drywall. Patios. In my areas, they love to sheetrock the patios. It's more like a home builder cheap out. They do sheetrock on the patios because it's cheaper on the build. Instead of doing like a tongue and groove wood paneling or stucco overhead, they do sheetrock patios. They look nice, but they do get weathered. The heat and the cold does a number on these patios, especially if you don't have fresh paint on it. The heat just sits on the patio. It has nowhere to go, so absorbs into the sheetrock, and it really zaps these tape seams. I probably do at least one a week, one every other week. This time of year, it's starting to get cool. October into summer, so people out here are deciding to work on their patios. I guess I'd rather work on a patio in October than work on a patio in June or July, especially in my area. I'm located in the Phoenix area. Valley-wide, we call it. Valley-wide because there's a bunch of cities. So it's basically the greater Phoenix area that I work at. So big place. The population here in Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, all this area is a big boom town. Lots of jobs, lots of building. At least for me. I've been working in drywall in this area for over 25 years, since the late 90s. I've been a licensed drywaller for going on 12, 13 years now. So yeah, we stay busy with these repair jobs, especially these patios. The reason they do these patios out here is because when the home builder builds, it's a cheap out. The sheetrock looks nice when it's finished, but it does get weathered fast. An expensive alternative besides sheetrock on patios would be like tongue and groove wood, shiplap, stucco. Anything overhead will be more resilient to the temperatures. The hot, cold, hot, cold. So if you're going to have patio on your ceiling, you're going to have to keep it painted. Every 5 to 10 years, you're going to have to paint it up. That paint keeps it sealed up, protected. It gives it some protection. Not all the protection. But when it goes too long, you get these seam repairs. These are basically the seams where the two sheets of drywall meet each other. The seams start buckling, giving way. And if you let it go longer, then it's going to start peeling past the texture. And then all the texture start peeling off. Then it turns into a big mess. So if you got a patio like this, once you see it start cracking or a seam exposed, fix it right then and there, because it just gets worse over time, and then it turns into a project like this. This is not the worst I've seen. I've seen some so bad where I just tell the homeowner, you're going to have to rip out all the sheetrock and start over. Re-sheetrock it or do shiplapping or something else. But these seam repairs, it's easy fix. We just got to do what I'm doing here on this video. I like to put down tarps, whatever, plastic. Sometimes plastic is not good outside on a windy day because your plastic will blow everywhere. So big heavy tarps, stuff like that works better on a windy day. But basically you're going to have to get up there and scrape all the loose stuff off. Sometimes as you're scraping with your 6-inch knife, the texture is going to keep peeling off. So you want to just peel it off as much as you can, get all that loose stuff out of there. If you keep scraping and scraping and scraping and all the texture comes off, everything just peels off, well, you waited way too long to decide to repair this. These homeowners here, that's a gated older community, a retirement community, so of course they don't know, so they're just eventually looked up and says, oh, there's a problem here, because they see the big area peeling, but it's all the seams that were peeling. The one peeling really bad, that's when you wait too long. See, it's just peeling down. This doesn't happen overnight. This is months and months and years of it, just them looking at it like this and not really wanting to repair it. Maybe you're trying to do a patio like this and your patio has issues and you're not comfortable doing the mudding process. Well, hey, you know what? If you scrape all this loose stuff out, you'll save some money. You're saving some trouble. In the ideal world, I would love to get these patios scraped, all that loose stuff off. I like to put some screws in the sheetrock, and I would like to paint a primer or a Kills or some kind of sealer primer over the whole patio. That sealer primer will give you the best bond. Your mud will really stick to that, especially if the patio is really bad shape, really dirty, really bad. You're going to have to primer over it, or you're just going to have to rip out the sheetrock and start over with new sheetrock. But we're just peeling away the areas. I always put screws on both sides of the sheets. One sheet's meeting the next sheet. That's your area you need to add screws. I'm using a spray glue. The reason I use a spray glue has many reasons. It's really not necessary. But I like to put the spray glue on the tape seam. So when I put the fiberglass mesh tape, it will bond really good overhead. The fiberglass already has like a adhesion, sticky adhesion to it, self-sticking. But sometimes that adhesion is not that strong, especially overhead. So then I'll tape up all the seams and then I'll walk away to my truck to get some mud or something, and then all the tape fell to the ground. So I use the adhesion for that reason. Also, on old sheetrock, water damage, stuff like that, I like to spray it on the paper if possible because it gives it an extra bonding adhesion. I'm not soaking it. I'm not spraying the whole can. Just a little bit goes a long way. It's just extra bonding strength for my mud. Something to stick to. If you don't have adhesion like this, no problem. It's an option. It's just, I've used it over the years and I found it does more good than bad. I've never had any issues with it. So I always keep a can with me when I have it and I use it. Especially overhead for taping. The edge where the stop peeling, that edge I'll spray a little more so I know that it bonds. If you don't have adhesion, you could take a damp sponge and just take away the dust or stuff off the paper, the actual sheetrock paper. That gets the dust barrier off there. Also, that works. Or if you have the time, go ahead and primer it up and let the primer dry. Also, I'm cutting out the sheetrock here. Keep a piece of the drywall for a paint match. I like to always give the homeowners, whenever possible, a piece of the sheetrock cutout for a paint match. Just in case, if they don't have the matching paint, now they have it. And they can take that piece to any paint store and have it matched up correctly. But go through and you're going to scrape it. This is real tedious and messy. It takes forever. I got an early start on this job because I knew it was a patio job. So I was going to scrape away, scrape away. This job only called for 3 seams, but I ended up repairing 5 seams. And I only charged the homeowner an extra $50 for the extra 2 seams, just because it was a retirement community and they obviously didn't know, and we gave them a good deal and we took care of them. We just go through and just basically just watch this video. It's just like all my other videos. It's pretty much the same step process. I make a lot of these videos. They seem repetitive, but this is drywall repairs. The reason I do this is because you say, hey, I'm doing my patio and it looks exactly like this job, so let's see how this guy did it. These are my techniques. You'll watch 100 different guys on YouTube. Everybody has their best ways. The tools that they use, whatever they use, great, good for them. This is the technique I use. I am a licensed drywaller, so I have to warranty my work for at least 2 years. That's the law out here where I live. Licensed drywallers, licensed contractors, minimum of 2-year warranty. So I try to do my jobs correctly because I have to warranty them. And as of yet, knock on wood, I haven't had any callbacks. It's usually, if there's a callback, it's the mud separated or something like that, where it's not in my control. All I'm doing is applying the material. So the materials do fail once in a while if they're not a good batch of mud, especially hot muds, if they're old hot mud, stuff like that, or if there's water, a lot of chlorine in the water, sometimes it tricks the mud, but we usually never have any problems. But with these patios, just go ahead and scrape them up. Try to keep your mess to a minimum. If you need to use bigger tarps, a lot of tarps, go ahead. Patios, the good thing about patios and garages, you can always hose them off when you're done. But basically, just go through here. What I'm going to do on these, after I get everything secured, fiberglass mesh tape, I'm going to hit everything with a hot mud. I always use hot muds on my jobs. The reason I use hot mud quick set materials is because I have to finish these jobs in one trip. I can't make any money if I had to go back to a job a second trip, third trip, fourth trip. So that's why I work with these hot muds. In the ideal world, use a joint compound. If you're a beginner at mudding, you really don't know what you're doing, just stick to joint compounds. Do not use spackles. Do not use hot muds. Only use joint compounds if you haven't did drywall mudding more than 10, 20 times. These joint compounds, they dry overnight. They take longer to finish the job. But with a joint compound, if you make a mistake, you can at least sand it away your mistake. With these hot muds, I know on the bag it says sandable, sand easy, but you don't sand hot muds. Once these set up, they set up like a cement, rock hard. Strongest material out there is a hot mud. So you got to work fast with them. You have to slick them out before they set up. So there's a lot more work, more mess, more tedious labor involved using hot muds. Joint compound, I just put the mud on, let it dry, sand it, turn around, second coat, sand it. So it's easier to work with joint compounds. Less steps. If you do make an error, you can sand it away. But we're just going to go through here and do it with hot muds. And you do pretty much the same process, except with joint compounds, you would just put the mud on and sand in between coats instead of slicking it out with the 6-inch knife. I'm going to get everything first coated. I'm going to slick out my first coat. Then I'm going to do a tight second coat. And then the texture here is just a really heavy skip trowel. A lot of skip trowels out here in this area, I know. So if you didn't have a skip trowel, you can at least do one coat, two coats, and maybe even do a tight third coat. And it'd be a perfect, nice, smooth repair. And then maybe you can hire someone to do the texture matching or just leave it smooth. So at least you have it repaired. But we're going to get everything taped, first coated, second coated, skip trowel, get it cleaned up, and then after that, the patio will be repaired. And then I told the homeowners, always primer, just go ahead and primer the whole ceiling. Roll it out. Spraying is nice, it's quick when you spray paint, but when you roll it, especially with a big, heavy, nappy roller that has a lot of paint and primer in it, you can really saturate the sheetrock and it can really absorb in there to protect it. That's what you want to do. You want to seal the sheetrock out here to kind of give you some protection from the elements. Hot, cold, it does a lot of damage. I always recommend Kills 2 latex. It's your go-to stuff for any primers. Kills 2 is a stain blocker, it's a sealer, and it's a paint primer all in one. So you get 3-in-1 with that good stuff. Or you can just use a regular PVA drywall sealer, any type of sealer. Just repaint the whole patio. Paint the whole ceiling. It'll protect it. And then use a high quality exterior paint, the best you can find, to give you some protection. It's not just a color. You need the protection from the elements. Hot, cold, hot, cold. I'm sure where you live, it gets cold, hot. It always changes, so it does a number on these. And if you don't want to go through this process, your next step would be do a ship lapping or other kind of finish over your sheetrock, or just pull it down and just leave it exposed trusses. But this is just a basic video on drywall repairing in a patio. I also have many other videos, so this is just basically a watch and learn video, just like all my other videos. I just basically work in the field. Whenever I have the camera with me, I try to record. I don't have no one there recording for me. I wish I did. I just have a basic camera. The camera I used fell off the ladder a bunch of times. I had one guy say, "You need a better camera." I said, "Well, I need something that can fall off a ladder and keep working." Now I have to do voiceovers because my camera took one tumble off the ladder and now it doesn't record voices well. It kind of mutes them out. So I'm doing voiceovers. I'm going to eventually get a better GoPro. Maybe if these videos start paying me, I get more than $1 a video, I could probably buy an upgraded GoPro that can handle a beating. I need an industrial strength, heavy duty camera because I'm rough. I work with waters, up and down ladders. I can't set up some little halo light like I'm doing makeup. I'm working in the field on ladders. So I'm trying to record and trying to make a living here and record what I'm doing and come back here and then edit the videos and try to make them for you guys. That way you can watch and learn. But go ahead and just watch this video. I would really love it if you comment. Hey, you can even give me bad comments because everybody knows, everybody on YouTube knows better than me. I'm just a drywaller here. I'm just trying to work so I can put food on my table. This is even a weekend job. I have to work on the weekends just to stay ahead in life, just to stay ahead with these jobs. I don't just work Monday through Friday. I work Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. If I got work, I got to work. I work by myself, so I've really got my hands full over here. I wish I can have help, but it's hard to find guys that know what I'm doing. I can help. I get guys to maybe help with the basic stuff, but I'm not going to pay someone that wants a big higher wage than I earned doing less, and then I have to sit here and drive to the jobs and do the work anyways. So that's why I used guys in the past. Some are good, but it's easier. I just do these jobs myself and just bite off what I can chew and just keep myself busy. That's why we do these drywall repairs only. I don't try to do whole houses, whole walls, remodels. The worst is working for like people trying to do remodels or house flippers because they don't want to pay as good as they should. So I usually work with homeowners, general contractors. I used to do work for those, but now I just work for myself and homeowners. General contractors always want the job done yesterday. They don't want to pay you what we're actually getting out there in the field. They want to pay you what they think an hourly rate is for whatever, and then you have to chase down your money. So that's why I just advertise to work with homeowners, and I stay pretty busy doing stuff like this. But yeah, just go ahead and watch along. Go ahead and give me a like, subscribe. This is a long video, so I don't want to talk your ear off. I hear myself talk all day long, and I'm just like I'm repeating myself when I have to keep going over the same step process. These are more just watch and learn. If you really need to get in depth with the videos on every step to do and how to mix the muds, go ahead and jump in my channel. Plenty of videos, plenty of stuff. I think that the playlist for stress cracks alone, there are over 30 plus videos. So I got patch playlists, texture playlists, tools, muds, everything, plumbing patches. So there's a whole bunch of videos on here, and I'm really pumping out a lot of videos lately because I got monetized and I'm actually making $1 for once. I got a whole $1. I think you need to make so many dollars and they'll give you AdSense will actually pay you. So that's why I'm pumping out these videos. I need to get more watch time. I'm not getting enough watch time. I had one guy say that, well, you suck. Your videos suck. It's like, hey, man, I'm making these videos to help you. I know how to do drywall. I'm not doing this just for me. I'm helping out the community and other people go watch and learn. I don't have no one else to teach. I don't have a little helper that I can teach, an apprentice. So I'm trying to teach you guys. So maybe you can see how to do this, and maybe you'll try to do it yourself. Or maybe you see it and say, oh, man, I'm going to hire a professional. It is tedious. It is messy. A lot of tools, a lot of mess. But yeah, this is just basic video, stress crack repairs. You're going to have at least one stress crack repair in your homeowner life. at least one crack in your home. I bet you can look around your house right now and you'll find one stress crack that you need to work on. So basically it'd be the same step process, any stress crack. Dig out the old seam whenever possible, the old tape, dig it out, add some screws, always tighten up your old sheetrock, retape, always use fiberglass tape. I know a lot of guys out there have all these different types of fiberglass. This stuff works better than this stuff. Just use the standard fiberglass mesh tape. Don't use paper tape either. Paper tape's meant for angles and it's meant for the bazooka. It may be fire taping. But for repairs, just use your standard fiberglass mesh tape. It doesn't have to be mold-proof mesh, special mesh. Just use your standard fiberglass mesh tape. When you can work with the regular tape, fiberglass tape, and you figured out how to use it well and perfect, then you could advance to these other tapes, these gimmick tapes, or they might be better, but I just stick to these regular fiberglass mesh tapes and I never have a call back. If you're concerned there's a big gap or a crack re-cracking, just double layer or triple layer your fiberglass mesh tape. Now you got a strong joint. You got 2 or 3 layers of tape, hey, that thing ain't gonna crack. And if it does crack after that, you got something bigger going than a drywall issue. You got structural issues. But go ahead and watch this video. We're gonna get this all fixed up. Hope it looks good. And if the homeowner paints this correctly with a nice primer and a nice paint, it should last them a long time. Thank you.